All right, exciting day because we've got something new, completely different today. A new FPV drone, the DJI Avata. It's not really new, but it's new for me because it's the very first FPV drone I'm gonna fly. It's got some features that will help you out. And all my friends were like, oh, the DJI Avata, blah, blah, blah. But actually, again, I think it's a good way to start. So I'm in the park here next to my house. We're gonna go away from people because I don't want to blind anyone. I'm gonna give you my first impressions, things I like, things I don't like. We're gonna test the battery life, all the basic stuff as a beginner and as a starter. We've got this nice basketball court, which is a safe area because it's all fenced out, so there's no risk to hit someone in the face. I'm gonna run the first battery here just to test the drone, the controller, because I only have the joystick. I don't have the remote controller yet. I've ordered it online, so hopefully it will be here in the next days. And stay tuned for more videos about the Avata, because more are coming out. Subscribe right now. So I'm gonna put you on a tripod and let's see, and I'm gonna talk through my first impressions as I put on the goggles and the kind of stuff. First of all, I want to share with you guys why I picked up an FPV drone, and it's not for racing or doing flips with the drone, but simply to create content professionally for my vlogs and YouTube channel. And I wanted to understand what kind of videos I could actually take, how the camera moves, all these sort of things. And you know what? I start with the setup really quickly, and the first thing that comes to my mind is when you slide the battery in, which is right here from the back. That's totally fine, but also you need to insert the pins here to create a connection between the drone and the actual battery. Okay, that's not a problem when you insert the battery, but when you want to remove it, it's quite hard and tricky because it's onto different levels. So if you slide the battery, you want to take the pins off as well, a step at a time. So remove the pin. And then you want to, what I do is to press these two wings on the side of the drone and try to slide it out. That's quite annoying, so it takes a bit of time to understand how that works. Shall we go on with the batteries as we were talking about it? So I want to give you some of the duration of the batteries. Bear in mind you have 3 devices to charge at least, which are the drone batteries, the goggles battery, and the joystick. And you can also buy the remote controller separately. I ran the first battery in normal mode, and the first battery lasted 13 minutes in normal mode. The second battery was flown in sport mode. It lasted 12 minutes, so not far off. Same duration, the third battery. In terms of charging the batteries, they take in forever. I've been charging one battery for at least 2 hours, and it's still 3/4 of charging. So I think it's gonna go overnight to charge the 3 batteries, but I'm gonna put down here the duration overall, but very, very slow. In terms of goggles battery, which is this one, and as far as I understand, you can also charge the goggles and power the goggles with some power banks with the right voltage. So with the first flight in normal mode, the goggles battery went down of 13%. So from 100, it went down to 87%. Second flight went down to 72%. So you kind of burned, I would say, 15% of your battery for each flight. In total, you might get 6-7 flights out of one charge of the goggles, which is still enough if you only have 3 batteries. Also bear in mind that the battery of the goggles is charging your phone, because you need to plug in your phone, and we're gonna talk about it. So you will get some juice out of the goggles because you're charging your phone as well when it's connected. Joystick, it lasts definitely longer than anything else because there's no displays or anything. It went down for probably 1/4 of the power, 25%. Second thing I did was to put the SD card, and that was a pain in the bum because the SD card reader is here, literally inside one of the propeller's protectors. So you want to open this tiny door. There you go. and it's really tricky to put your finger in there and slide in and out the mini SD card. Thing I did, I forgot to close the door, the silicone door, so I took off and I heard a strange noise. And guess what it was? It was the door just, you know, slamming against the propellers. Not good. Remember to close the door. Second thing was the actual SD card. My old cards were not fast enough to follow the speed of recording, of writing on the 4K 60 frames per second. So I just purchased from Amazon some Samsung ones, and I leave the link down here and the name as well, if you want to check it out. The third thing I did was to put the goggles on, right? So you put your goggles on, but as I mentioned, you need to power the goggles or you won't be able to do anything. And on the other side, you're gonna slide in the battery we just talked about. What I didn't like about this system is that these things are hanging off the goggles. So you've got your smartphone, if you're using your smartphone, and the battery of the goggles are just hanging. They don't give you any holder or support. It could have been a good idea to create something here, just a strap, you know, to put it on the side of your goggles and keep the battery there instead of this. And now here we've got some nice lenses. Actually, also the display inside is great, to be fair. It's really good quality, resolution is amazing. They are adjustable. You got two dials underneath the goggles here. You can press and turn, and now you're able to move the lens, look at this, left to right, and adjust your vision basically according to your eyes. And also you can spin and change the focus of the lens against to match your sight. First of all, the goggles don't really fit my face. There's a bit of space between the foam here and my face, so in daylight in the park I had some light going through, which is not great, and also some reflections inside the lenses. I could actually see what was behind me because it was literally reflecting what it was behind me. Second thing, there was a bit of steam coming in, so if you're warm, if there's a bit of humidity, yeah, the lenses were steaming, and again that wasn't great because it blocks your visibility basically. But when you get it right, these things are great. It's very clear. The goggles are amazing. The resolution of the goggles is amazing actually. Another thing before we fly, another thing I don't like here is on the goggles, basically you need to focus in the center of your frame, and when you do focus in the center of the frame, everything else is blurred. So around the center is kind of blurred, and you need to move the goggles left and right to actually make it focus. So some of the text at the bottom will not be very readable, which are important stuff, like the position, the battery life, you know, if you're recording, if you're not, all those sort of things. Also, I think the goggles are too low for me. So to have a good view, I need to put it right on my nose. It doesn't let me breathe properly. And as we're talking about the goggles, I mentioned before to connect your phone. And now this isn't something I need to understand. Again, guys, this is my first day. Literally, I just wanted to share with you my excitement for this tool and how it worked for me. So you plug in this USB-C cable. In my case, it's the same on my Android. The DJI Fly app will turn on automatically on your phone. I'm not sure if you actually need to connect your phone to the goggles to fly, because I actually flew indoors without the smartphone connected, but I had some issues with the GPS and vision. And I wasn't sure if those problems, basically the drone wasn't stable and was going backwards as well, and it couldn't find its way to stay still, and I crashed it indoors. And I'm not sure if that because of the phone, so it relates with the GPS of the phone, or because it was quite a dark environment and there was no vision for the drone. So that's something I need to understand myself as well. So I'm not really sure why you need the app and the phone, because actually you can control everything from the goggles. This is a touch panel, and you can just scroll through the menus, 3 different menus, and select your settings for the camera and for the goggles and everything. Right, the drone can be flown in two different ways with the joystick and a third way with the remote control. The modes are normal, sport, and manual. With the normal and sport mode, you have still some assistance in terms of keeping the drone in the air. With the manual mode, it's all manual, so if you don't use the throttle, the drone will float down and there's no brakes or anything like that. But with the sport and the normal mode, actually you have some support. The drone will stop if you don't press, you know, the trigger button. You've got also a brake button to stop the drone immediately, and so on. So it's a very good drone for me to start to understand how the FPV drones work. You double press the red button on the joystick and it will start recording. To take off, you hold it and we are on. Okay, we are in normal mode now, which is the slow mode, and you got some support, some help with the sensor, so you see the drone will stay in the air. The trigger is your acceleration. Go forward. It's actually quite fast. And then to spin, you want to tilt left and right. You don't want to spin it, because in that way nothing will happen. You simply choose the direction you want to go to and you fly. You go left and right. Okay, using the joystick, it's not too bad, it's quite intuitive. Woo! I might need to sit down because I'm feeling a bit sick. Okay, it's pretty responsive actually with the joystick, it's really cool. Before I purchased the drone, I had some questions which I couldn't find an answer to. For example, how are the camera movements? How is the drone movements? Is it moving as another drone as well? Can I move it as a normal drone if I wanted to? But actually, no. These are the answers I found. In terms of directions, you can only go forward and then spin left and right. So that's how you maneuver your drone, but you can't go sideways as you can do on a Mavic Pro or Mavic Air. It was quite limited in terms of camera shots basically you can take. Also bear in mind, through the app you can't track yourself as in other drones. So if you want to put the drone in the air and get the scooter, drive and make the drone following you, that's not happening. You need to pilot this the whole time. So can the camera be tilted? That's another question I had, or does it just stay still? But as you can see, it just moved, and there's a button on the joystick. If I go up or down, the camera will go up and down. Now the problem is when you're actually flying, nothing is happening. I tried to move it as I was flying and it was just staying on the same position there. So I'm not sure if it changes as you're changing the modes from camera, photo camera to video camera. I haven't tested it, but during the videos, no, it wasn't tilting. So I'm not really sure how to use the tilt mode yet. Can you use it without goggles? I don't think so. You can still see the image on your smartphone. So if you have a smartphone, you can control it via the monitor. Photography capabilities as well, we're gonna test it out later on. I'm probably gonna travel very soon, so hopefully I will have time to take videos and photos and share what I've taken. Now, how easy it is to actually fly the Avata. I didn't find it very difficult so far. Bear in mind, I flew literally 3 times in the house and 3 batteries outdoors today. But if you come from a normal drone, a standard drone, and you know already what you're doing with the remote control and how the drone behaves, there's not much difference in normal mode and sport mode, because also on normal drones you have the sport mode as well, which just goes faster, okay? You don't have sensors here, so you can go very close to obstacles and you can hit obstacles. That's the big difference. But I found it very helpful to look in POV with my eyes where I was going. And that's another issue in a way, because it gave me motion sickness. After 1 battery, I was standing up, I had to sit down because I was really feeling sick, you know, stomach, ugh. Keep it in mind, maybe put your back against the wall, sit down for the first flights, take it easy because it gives a bit of motion sickness. You're literally just going through things. It's a tiny drone. I could manage to go through small spaces, to be fair. I crashed it as well today for the first time, but it took it really well. Nothing happened, no scratches, a bit of paint, and that's all. The joystick is very intuitive and also responsive. I didn't have any loss of signal. You have a brake button for safety in case something is happening. You just press it and the drone stops immediately. That's why I like it. It's, you know, it's user-friendly. Portability, because that's very important for me as well, being a video maker who travels a lot and commutes a lot, even in London. But especially I'm taking this to travel around the world. So as you can see, it's very tiny, quite light. The body is smaller than the Mavic Air 2 I've got right now, but you've got the propellers here and the protectors, which don't come off unless you unscrew them. So it might take a tiny bit more space. Bear in mind that you have an extra tool with an FPV drone, which is the goggles. With normal drones, you don't. You only have the drone and the remote controller and the smartphone. With this FPV, you also have the goggles, so it might take a tiny bit more space in your bag. So far, in this tiny experience I had today, I had a lot of fun, actually, flying with the Avata. It's not a sponsored video. I really enjoyed flying it, and I was thinking to also buy instead the Mini Pro 3, because it gives me more features when I'm traveling, such as, you know, the following modes and that kind of stuff, so I can actually film myself as I'm doing action and adventures. But I really wanted to try FPV, and I think this is a good way in, because it's safe. You got the protections here. It's a solid drone. We're gonna talk about the quality of the video as well in the next videos when I'm actually filming something a bit cooler. Talking about smartphone and apps as well, there's a second app called DJI Virtual Flight, which is a simulator to start getting into the FPV. I recommend to try, but make sure your phone will support the app. Once again, my phone didn't, so I had to purchase a new phone, and I'll pick it up tomorrow and start practicing inside the virtual world before I break the new drone. I hope all these things are gonna help you out, you know, in starting to understand what to expect from the drone. Because again, I had questions in my head, I couldn't find the answers, and I think the best way to find those answers is to pick up the gear and try it yourself. If you have any questions so far, drop them down here in the comment tabs. I'll be happy to reply if I know the answer. Hit subscribe, and I can't wait to see you in the next video because it's gonna be exciting again. And actually I've got more gear coming soon. One, it's a brand new camera from Sony, which is apparently great for vloggers, so stay tuned right here. But also I'm gonna test the smartphone Sony Xperia Pro 1, which is a bit old anyway, but for video making seems to be amazing. I tried the iPhone before, iPhone 14. I didn't really enjoy the video making capabilities. You can check my review up here as well. I'm gonna share also my travel trolley for cameras if you're interested in that sort of things. All right, once again, subscribe, and thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. God bless.